So today, we have a great episode for you all. I have a special guest here with me at the moment. His name is Zevin Clark. He's an entrepreneur, CEO of Bloomble, health and wellness company. Am I saying that right? Is it
Yeah,
Bloom
Bloomble. Bloomble. Yep.
Bloomble? So he has his own health and wellness company. He also is an advocate of blockchain and investing in decentralized finance. These are just some of his ventures that he's currently involved with. We definitely will touch on many others throughout this episode, and this will be a great show. And I hope that you all are watching and listening. As always, if you can continue to like, subscribe, and share on the YouTube, and if you're listening on the podcast, if you can leave a review and share and subscribe on those platforms as well. That would be much appreciated. And with that being said, welcome, Zevin. I'm glad you're on the show today.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Of course, I'm glad that you took the time to come on. To get things started, I really wanted to learn more about your background and your experiences. Can you kind of just explain that briefly for people out there that's learning about you for the first time?
Absolutely, absolutely. My name's Zevin Clark. 26 years old. Grew up right outside of Chicago, the northwest suburbs of Chicago, in a little city called Crystal Lake. It's a primarily affluent area. I grew up probably one of five African American men and women in the entire city, especially at my age demographic. But I was a football player, played a lot of football, played a lot of sports, really enjoyed weightlifting, really enjoyed running for touchdowns. I was running back. It was just extremely important for me to always be competing. I always wanted specific things, so I'd ask my parents for that new General Lee bike. It was an orange bicycle. I really wanted it because all my neighbors would get the same bike. And when I asked for it, my parents were basically like, "Yeah, we'd love to get you that item, but we just can't afford it. We've already gotten you these things and that and that and that. We just can't afford to get you everything under the sun." And so I looked at that as an opportunity to really see what I can do on my own, what kind of money that I can actually generate to be able to get the things that I really wanted out of life, you know? And so I started on this path of entrepreneurship. I looked at my neighbors, all of them were older than me, of course. They were mowing lawns. They were shoveling snow, or they were selling and making lemonade stands. They were always selling something, always doing some type of service. So I went up to the same neighbors, asked them how I can kind of get integrated, how I could shovel their snow as these kids graduated from high school and went off to college. I kind of took over their positions. I was mowing a lot of people in the neighborhood's lawns. I was shoveling a lot of people in the neighborhood's driveways, and that's how I made a little bit of money when I was still in high school. Fast forward, I actually went to West Virginia State. I was a running back, but redshirt freshman. Um, I still had that yearning for greatness. I still was in the pursuit of excellence, but in an entirely different way. It wasn't as important as it is now, but it was extremely important. So that's when I came upon my buddy Phil Wallace. Phil Wallace introduced me to a little company. I call it little, but it's actually really big. He introduced me to a company called Amway. And so at the age of 18 and 19, I was actually just peddling soap and deodorant and all the items that they sell, the protein bars, all of those things. I was selling those, or at least in attempt to sell all of those things. But what was really important about that side of my story, it was a major catalyst for change. I saw and got around the right environment, people who really knew what they wanted out of life, and more importantly, knew how to get it. You know, they were reading the right books, they were listening to the right information, and they were doing the right things, really learning how to present and talk to other people in crowds, really learning how the intricacies of features, advantages, and benefits of different products. Really just learning everything that there is to know about business. Amway was an extremely important part of my business life and my business journey. But it obviously didn't work out. I wasn't making a lot of money. So I actually ended up meeting a buddy named Mark Roney. Mark Roney just introduced me to entrepreneurship in a different subset. He was painting, and he was doing windows, all the manual labor types of positions and jobs. And he said, Zevin, I have something for us. We can go down to Texas and Oklahoma. We can sell to all these gun manufacturers for inventory management systems, warehouse management systems, and e-commerce all together with marketing and search engine optimization. I was like, this football thing is for the birds, man. I literally felt like a slave at West Virginia State. It was ridiculous. You're waking up at 4 in the morning so that way you can be down at the facility around 5 just to start working out and running miles. I'm not a morning person. I'm just not. I'm not a morning person. I have morning meetings every morning at 7:15, but I'm not really a morning person. So when I was looking at that, I was realizing this just wasn't for me. West Virginia State wasn't for me. So I ended up leaving, going down to Texas, selling, and that's when I really, really, really got the crash course of what sales actually takes. The persistence, the fortitude, being able to understand obstacles and objections, being able to give rebuttals. I learned a lot about the intricacies and the details of selling and the structure and the procedures of actually creating a good sale. Um, and so we built that up. We were pretty successful. But me and my partner, we just didn't have the same vision. He wanted to do things in a specific way, and I wanted to do things in another more like a bigger way. I wanted to hire a lot of employees. He thought that it was better to just keep it slim and really make money the way that we had been. So we actually ended up parting ways, and that's like a 2 or 3 year period where I would just call it like my foundational period. It was really just me finding out more about myself, really understanding who Zevin is, his whys, what he wants to do moving forward, and how he wants to grow. And so I found Darren because I was looking at different things about The Secret. Everybody watches the movie on Netflix,
Mhm.
The Secret, and so
Yes.
Bob Proctor's actually in it. And I
Mm,
stumbled upon Darren because he was the only guy that I saw, a person of color, of course,
mhm,
that was driving a Lamborghini.
mm,
And so me at 18, 19, 20 years old, I was just like, wait a second. This guy's driving a Lamborghini. Let me reach out to him and see what he does. And so he told me that he was just a coach and like a mentor through Bob Proctor. And so he introduced us, me, Coy, and
yeah,
a couple other people who are still in Bloomble to a course called Thinking into Results. And
mm,
through that, it really made it more mechanical about how we're actually accomplishing the things that we're accomplishing, how we're supposed to do the things that we're supposed to do. And that really led me on this like spiritual journey of how we're supposed to constantly be thinking and how we're supposed to be doing the things that we need to be doing on a day-to-day basis. But fast forward, just to make the long story kind of short, and we moved directly from being able to do the warehouse management systems, the inventory management systems. I grew a specific amount of money. It was right around 30 to 40 grand, and I invested it into a marijuana delivery service in California, Los Angeles.
mm,
And we grew that to be right around a $600,000 company per year. We were doing really good business, but the other founder that we found that we invested in and with, um, he just had a different story. He had a different narrative. He wanted to do the things that he wanted to do. He kind of
mm.
treated the company account as if it was his own personal account. You might know how that goes,
Dang.
and we just had to split ways, dude. We had to split ways. So as you know, I mean, some partners like to see a future where they can use their company funds as their own personal funds. So he was basically using the company account as his own personal piggy bank, living the Los Angeles lifestyle as so many do, going to
Mhm,
clubs, doing parties, getting bottle service, driving $1,500 a month car note cars, getting watches, doing all this crazy stuff. And I realized I still wanted to be in the cannabis space. I just knew that this area of the cannabis space just wasn't going to work out for me. specifically
Hmm.
because of the way that he was treating it and the people that I was surrounding myself with. I mean, the people inside of marijuana that I was around back in the day, these people were willing to lie, cheat, steal to get ahead in life. And I knew that that's not the life that I want to live. That's not the life that I want to lead, and that's not what I want to bring kids into to an earth with. You know, like I'm
Yeah.
all about being able to share. Everything
Mm-hmm.
about my life is giving, 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 because I know that when you're giving, you're also receiving. But back to the story. I, I realized that I still wanted to stay in the space, but I didn't know where. So it was me and my partner Michael. He's a good friend of mine. I grew up with him. We lived we grew up in the same city, Crystal Lake, and he was one of the only people who had an entrepreneurial mindset. So we did a lot of things together, and we were going back and forth with what we should do. We were still brokering THC deals in Los Angeles, and we were still kind of dabbling into the CBD. This was when CBD was still coming around. We had to take a hard look at our life. We had to take a hard look at the people that we were surrounding ourselves with, and we had to take a hard look at the people that we were actually doing business with, what their moral compass was like. We realized that
Hmm.
marijuana, in that side of the business, the THC side of the business, those people, like I said, are willing to lie, cheat, steal in order to get ahead in life, in order to really just get the deals done. And it wasn't anything that I really wanted to associate with. And so when I looked at CBD, I saw that these people were professional, these people were empathetic, these people were caring, these people actually wanted to better the place that we inhabit, the earth, you know. They wanted to make sure that they left it a better place than they came in. And so we looked at CBD and realized, hey, that's the direction that we have to go. That's the direction that we have to go. And we were watching a show because I always had friends over at my apartment in Hoffman Estates in Chicago. And we were watching, I think it was like CNBC. And at the time, it was just going over the biggest companies in the world. And the biggest company in the world at the time and still today, one of them is Amazon. So the original idea behind Bloomble was to create a transparent space where customers can come and know that the products that they're choosing have already been fully vetted. We've already been on 550 something farms all around the United States. We've already worked with a lot of different labs all around the United States and the world. You know, we're working with labs in Europe, in Switzerland, and we've already done all of the heavy lifting. So when it comes to Bloomble, it's just about adding transparency and being able to provide products at a very reasonable price. The other side of this space is that people are just overcharging. I'll tell you a little bit of a foundational level about me personally. I personally suffer from crazy, crazy, crazy amounts of anxiety. Um,
Son.
I don't know what it is. I always feel like I have that weight of the world on my shoulders, right? So I'm always carrying that around. And at times I'll suffer through little minor panic attacks. They don't last long, it's like 15 to 20 minutes. Um, but one of the missions behind Bloomble is really making that type of anxiety, those panic attacks, a choice. So through our products and services, we'll be able to ensure that people don't have to suffer the same way that I still suffer to this day. You know, we're going to be finding products and services that cure or at least very, very, very little traces of anxiety. So it's not as strong and as impactful as it is with me and what I go through on a day to day basis. So that's the overall idea behind what we have going on here at Bloomble. I mean, we're really just trying to make a lot of the things that people are dealing with today optional. You know, we're trying to give control back to the people, and the best way to do that is to allow them to just take the edge off, you know, surrender to the
Yeah.
circumstance and know that they really are in control and finding their inner power.
Yeah, it's such a great story. Just listening to you, I know for myself, I also was born in the Midwest in Detroit, Michigan. And Chicago was like our neighbors, and I've been out there a couple of times. I never heard of Crystal Lake, never been in that area, but definitely is a great city every time I'm there. And just you describing all of your experiences with Amway, also with Bob Proctor's program, I know it helped mold it and shaped you into what you're currently doing now with entrepreneurship. And I would love to want to get your perspective of what made you want to go into the industry of health and wellness. Was it because of your um, own anxiety that you were going through, that you wanted to develop products and services that can help assist with that, or what were the other motives of wanting to really get into the health and wellness industry?
I mean, I always knew growing up that marijuana would eventually become legal, that cannabis would
Yeah.
eventually become legal. And I was
Mm-hmm.
in high school when it first did, and me and my mom would always toss the idea, hey, let's start a dispensary. Hey, let's do these, let's do that. But we always knew that it costed millions of dollars. Inside of
Mm-hmm.
the hemp space, I realized that it doesn't take the same amount of money as it does inside of the marijuana space. The
Mm-hmm.
people are very transparent, and the products actually work. I mean, I can't tell you how many testimonials that we've gotten saying, "Hey, this product really helped change the landscape of my life. I'm no longer suffering from the things that I was suffering from. Thank you, thank you, thank you." And that's really what it's all about for us. I mean, we know that these products work, and so that's what's really kept me inside of this industry and inside this space.
Yeah, and I know I was reading an article the other day on Barron's how they were saying that there's a lot of older individuals that are in retirement, like 65 and older, that are looking at using a form of cannabis to help with chronic pain, to help with anxiety, arthritis. And they like to look at other options such as like edibles, like gummies, something where they can manage the dose more effectively. And I wanted to, get your perspective on that. When it comes to a target audience, when you were developing the business, and even as you're growing it now, do you have a set target audience as far as what your products and services are more attractive to? Is it more for older people, people that are young like me? How is the target audience that you focus on with your
So,
business?
so the target audience started out as we were primarily doing smokables. So it was
Hmm.
smokable hemp, it was vape cartridges,
Yeah.
concentrates, moon rocks, cigarettes, those things. But we realized that we were alienating ourselves to an entirely different side of the market. Um, the
Hmm.
real truth is we started out inside of just CBD, but we ventured into all different cannabinoids like THC delta 8, THC delta 10, THCV, CBDV, CBD, CBDA, CBG, CBN, CBC. There are all these different cannabinoids that all stand to help in specific areas, and they're all in different areas. So I found that to be extremely cool. And then we're literally pivoting to just go all health and wellness. So instead of just
Yeah.
cannabinoids, we're looking into the medicinal mushrooms. We're looking into the kratom of the world. We're looking into or looking deeper into vitamins, minerals, amino acids. We're gonna launch as a full health and wellness company just because I realized in the attainment of wealth, the most important thing is to have your health. Otherwise, you can't even enjoy it, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why it's so important for me to highlight on the fact that health, 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 it's extremely important, and we need to hold it higher than we do the attainment of wealth, you know?
Of course, I think that health plays such a vital role in our everyday lives, and even from exercising, the food that you're putting in your body, that's the most important, like you said, than any type of dollar that you could acquire. If you don't have great health, you're not able to perform, you're not able to produce at the level that you need to be at. So I totally agree from that perspective. Now, I wanted to ask, so what are the steps to creating a brand, a health and wellness brand like you have done for yourself?
That's a good question. I mean,
Yeah.
I would pinpoint it all down to just work ethic. I mean,
Yeah.
for me, it's really about bootstrapping and guerrilla marketing. So I'm not spending
Mhm.
millions of dollars on advertising, first and foremost, because we can't. We're in
Yeah.
a very censored space. So, I mean, even if you look at our TikTok, we have 400 something thousand followers, right? But in the growth of doing that, we've had hundreds of videos getting taken down. We've had our account taken from us at least twice, only to have to go to corporate and rebuild it. Um, for me, when it comes to marketing, I mean, I'm all about just talking to a lot of people. I'm trying to talk
Hmm.
to as many people as humanly possible in the shortest period of time. So being empathetic and understanding of other people's circumstances, talking to them about what they personally have going on in their life currently, right now, and then just being able to provide something that works to provide a solution for what they have going on.
I see what you're saying. So I wonder for someone that's watching that they want to do, something similar of what you're doing now. They want to have their own health and wellness brand, and build a business where they can offer the products and services to other people. What was the cost of getting started? Did you do like as far as a website? And then you started purchasing the products and services to list on a website. Like, what? Take me through that cost of what it takes to actually create something that you have created.
Okay, so I mean, costs associated were for me, it's going to be a lot cheaper than anybody else, specifically because, like I said, I'm a bootstrapper. So when I get
Yeah,
fixated on an idea, I just try and find the solution as quick as humanly possible. So when it comes to the
yeah.
website and the graphic design and the branding, all that stuff, that's me and my girlfriend that I've been together with for like 6 years or five to 6 years. I built the
Mhm,
website, but she did all of the customer face branding. And then from there, it was me and Michael sitting in a garage calling thousands of people, calling
mhm,
thousands of people. And we really weren't like, we didn't buy products to begin with. I
yeah,
mean, I tell my salespeople this all the time. Our first couple
yeah,
deals, while it took 8 months just to land a deal, it also took
mhm,
us 6 months to fulfill the product because the supplier that was supposed to supply us with the material ended up not actually owning the lab that he said that he had.
mhm,
So we sold a
mhm.
kilo of isolate to a customer named Pete, and Pete had to wait 6 months to get his material. So
Right.
it just comes down to really bootstrapping and doing the work. It really
Yeah.
just comes down to doing the work and calling as many people as humanly possible, making as many mistakes as humanly possible, because in those mistakes are learning lessons and opportunities to be better.
I agree. I definitely think that you learn more from your losses, than your wins, and there's nothing wrong with making mistakes. And I wonder with the website, so the products and services on the website, you don't necessarily have to purchase those. Like,
Well,
how
now we
are
do.
you?
Now we
Now you
do.
do? Okay.
So
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
talking about an evolution of over 3 to 4 years, right?
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
at the beginning, at the inception, I mean, I would say that we started with $5,000
Okay.
max. Buying the domain, buying the web services, um, just building out the themes, doing the WooCommerce and WordPress. It wasn't much money. The license was like 500, $600. It wasn't
Yeah.
anything crazy. It just got to be crazier as we started to expand. So the expenses go up as our employees go up. If we had two or
Yeah.
three employees, it's only 5 to 7 grand a month. But now we have 15, 20, 30 employees, it's over 35, $40,000 a month. So it keeps on growing and it keeps on accruing. I mean, we started in Michael's mom's garage, first off.
Hmm.
So we had
Hmm.
no overhead. Michael's mom was paying for the house, right?
Hmm.
Michael's mom was paying for the house. We were storing material there that we were buying for customers. We were packaging it up in this little, like, 200 square foot space that Curtis, Michael's mom's boyfriend, built for us. But we were packaging things up and then just driving directly to FedEx or driving to UPS or driving to USPS and delivering the packages. So at the beginning, the expenses weren't really that much. We didn't really have to get a lot of money. We really built up a lot of our liquidity through just selling. I mean, the
Yeah.
first year we did right around 200,000. The second year we did over 10 million. So
What's up?
as we grew, our liquidity grew as well, and then we were able to just put it and place it into new things. And as we were putting it and placing it into new things, the people that we were working with were financing our operation indirectly, specifically because I structured it in a way where, hey, you guys want to sell the material that you're making, right? And everybody says, yeah, of course I want to sell the stuff that I'm making. Okay, well,
Mhm.
you know that there's a marketing budget for this stuff, right? You know that there's a customer acquisition cost for this stuff, right? Oh yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
Zevin, that makes sense. Okay, well, I might need $100,000 to sell this stuff. You
Mhm.
know, I would always just find out exactly what that other person wants and then sell them on that.
Yeah, that's really key. And now are you all? I'm sure you all are working with either warehouses or other distributors to help package your products and services, and then you ship them out to different customers. Is that essentially how? Because I'm sure you're not doing it. You may be doing it still in the house now with packaging products, but um, how is the process now? Do you have multiple locations where they're sending the products out, or are you working with different distributors? Like, how is the process from a supply chain standpoint of um, how you are actually getting those products and services out to customers?
So a lot of it, we have Brandon Land. Well, we have a couple different people. We have a couple different
Mhm.
like co-packers who are working
Yeah,
with us and for us to make some of the products. We don't make all of the raw materials ourselves. Like we're not doing extraction. We
yeah.
primarily do post processing. But
Hmm.
there are different steps. So I mean, do you want me to run you through like the full supply chain of hemp?
Yeah, that would be informative for the audience. So yeah, you definitely can. That would be good.
Okay.
Just explaining. It could be an overview. It don't have to be exact step by step, but just the overview of how you get it from the beginning to the end and how it gets to the consumer with processing everything
Okay, that's
with the
easy.
products.
That's easy. I'll do
Hmm.
like a 50,000 feet overview.
That's cool.
But I mean, it obviously starts with a seed, one little seed. It goes into the
Yeah.
ground. A farmer would plant that and he'd harvest a product called biomass. That biomass
Hmm.
would then be transported to an extractor. An extractor would be using ethanol or CO2 or hydrocarbon. There are all these different solvent based extraction methods. And through that, the biomass would then turn into a black substance called crude. That crude is whole plant. It has its fats and lipids. It's probably one of the best materials that people can be ingesting. But there is a process called distillation that kind of refines it just a little bit more to bring up the potency. So it goes from the biomass to crude to distillation. From distillation, it goes into isolation, which is the white powder. The easiest way that I can explain isolation is everybody that does work out, and I know that you work out a little bit. I know that I worked out in
Yeah.
the past. We all use
Yeah.
something called whey protein. And whey protein, its scientific name is whey protein isolate. It's the
Yeah.
isolated molecule. So when I say CBD isolate, it's the isolated molecule of CBD, that specific cannabinoid. So isolate is upwards of 99%. Distillate and crude are usually used in your gummies, in your tinctures, in your muscle roll-ons. The isolate is normally used as a flavorless agent, so you can put it in drinks, you could put it in gummies as well, you could put it in tinctures as well. But distillate is also the stuff that comes inside of these vape cartridges. So
Hmm.
the vape cartridge is comprised of two things primarily, if they're making it correctly. It's the distillate and it's the terpenes. But that's a little bit about the process of the raw material side.
Sure.
We then take those raw materials to different co-packers who are already making tinctures, who are already making gummies. We give them the raw materials, they formulate it, they give us back the material. We package it in our own packaging, and then we send it out.
That's very interesting. That's just good for my own knowledge because that's my first time hearing it from that experience. So thank you for sharing that. Now, like, take me through your business model. I know with everything with COVID, um, even though this year has been a lot better with recovery, specifically last year, there was a digital pivot where a lot of companies had to figure out other ways of how they could get products and services out to their consumers. What I'm wondering with your business model, is it a direct to consumer? Do you do any trade shows, or before COVID, where you're displaying your products at any health and wellness shops? Like, just take me through a little bit with your business model with Bloomble.
So the easiest way that I could put it is it's a multi-pronged approach. We
Mhm.
sell directly to. Okay, so there's actually three ways that Bloomble's business model works. One is the wholesale of the raw materials. So as you know, the farmers need genetics. So we source genetics for some farmers, select farmers that we're already working with, because we know that those products will yield a specific result, and that result will yield obviously money. So we sell the genetics to farmers, then we then take the farmer's product and we sell it to extractors, or we go through a process called toll processing. Dude, this when I say that this business is like the wild, wild west, man, it really is because some transactions aren't really even for money. They're really not. They're not
Yeah,
for money at all. The
yeah,
process behind toll processing is taking biomass and exchanging it for an end result. Call it crude, distillate, or isolate. So a farmer might come to me saying he has 100,000 pounds. He wants it. He wants distillate. So we would have to find a post processor, or we would do it ourselves. But we would find a post processor that would process their biomass into distillate and do a split. So that farmer might only get 50% of the yield for the biomass that they came to me with. So one of the systems that Bloomble does to make a profit inside of its business model is we sell the wholesale raw ingredients, the raw materials, to extractors, to post processors, and to other manufacturers. Another way, or the second way that Bloomble makes money, is that we sell the finished products to wholesalers themselves, call it gas stations, convenience stores, liquor stores, shops, all of these different stores and avenues, even gyms and massage therapists. We sell to chiropractors. We sell to a bunch of different outlets that then go and sell to their consumers. And then the third way is a direct to consumer model. As you know, our community has grown to a little bit over 400,000 people, and so we're able to just market directly to these people and get and kind of receive the benefits of just being able to sell direct to consumer.
I see. Yeah, that's very interesting. Now, can you talk about your company's mission to donate over $1 billion? I noticed when I was reviewing the website, I'm a big proponent of philanthropy and giving back. Can you kind of explain that a little bit more of the mission?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have a mission of donating over $1 billion to impact the lives of millions of people around the United States of America, as well as overseas in other countries. It's just extremely important to me. I mean, I'm not somebody who needs to hoard all of the money to myself. I know that other people are at a disadvantage in one way or another, and I just like to help the world become a better place by at the very least being able to donate the money that I'm earning to help them live a better life or a more enriched life. So I think that it's extremely important that as Bloomble continues to scale, we in turn, at the very least, donate over 10% of what we're earning. So I believe that we'll be able to accomplish the goal of donating over $1 billion inside of the next 15 years.
That's really solid, man. I definitely commend you with that and continue to keep going. I know your team will definitely get to that goal. Now, can you kind of describe? I noticed the model you usually go by is billions or bust. I did see that
It's
on
everywhere.
your social media, and I would love to hear your approach of that. Exactly what that model means to you.
Um, well, can you just elaborate on the question again, just for me?
Yeah. So when I seen billions or bust, I was looking at that from your Instagram and just really curious, like when you say billions or bust, is it more of a mind frame of like it's either that or nothing, or just the level of, I guess, capital that it takes to accomplish something where that's where the mind frame needs to be. You either need to go big or go home. So when I looked at it, that's the way I thought of it when I synced it on your social media. But just kind of wanted to get your approach of when you put that, what exactly does billions or bust mean to you?
I mean, the easiest way that I can put it, I saw a very famous quote. It was a couple years ago, and it went a little bit
Mm-hmm.
like this: If you want to change the world, you don't need millions of dollars; you need billions of dollars. And the problems that we're trying
Mm-hmm.
to solve aren't small problems. I mean, my problem alone with just anxiety is a massive problem that hundreds of millions of people on this earth suffer from every single day. So giving people control of their life or giving them back control of their life, it's a big mission. It's a big goal. And I listen to other billionaires, other people who really have established significance for themselves and the people that they surround themselves with. And they say that if you really want to attain massive things, especially on a financial level, you're going to have to solve if you want $1 billion, they say that you need to solve a $10 billion problem. So everything about me is just centered around billions, simply because I think billions is the idea behind excellence. I believe that
Yeah.
having billions is an idea behind the concept of having heaven on earth. I mean, there's not anything that you
Mm-hmm.
can't do when you have $1 billion. So
You're right.
yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
it also
Yeah.
goes into the philanthropy side. I mean, it's extremely
Yeah.
important for me to donate over $1 billion to impact the lives of millions of
Right.
people on this earth. So everything about me is just massive, top tier, pinnacle levels. I don't play small. I never will.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly, man. I think that's the way the approach has to be. Even, from just a giving standpoint, the more that we can give and the more changes that we can implement in our society, we're really going to be able to have an impact and really change people's lives. And I think when you're solving a problem like your business is doing, especially for people that have anxiety, that are going through, all types of health issues where CBD is really an outlet that can help calm that and really give them a peace of mind. Is really, inspirational, what the company is doing, what you're doing. And I definitely salute you when it comes to that. Now I did want to transition and talk a little bit about just decentralized finance. And I know you're an investor in crypto. Me and Coy, we've had many conversations, and he's always told me you get giving him some great ideas as far as different companies to look at. But how do you see decentralized finance evolving in the future?
I mean, I will touch on decentralized finance, but I just want to talk about the
Yeah.
idea behind blockchain altogether.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I
That,
believe I believe it to be one of the most important inventions since the invention of the internet itself.
that,
Since the
mm-hmm.
invention of electricity, that's how big and monumentous blockchain technology
Yeah.
is, dude. Since we had
Mm,
last talked, I think it's been like right around a week. There's a
wait.
lab that I'm
Mm-hmm.
acquiring in Lakewood, and I talked to the landlord and I talked to the owner of that specific facility, and I'm now looking at repurposing that facility not just as a lab, but also as a mining facility, because we
Mm,
already did all of the work that it takes to upgrade all the power. So we'll be able to run
mm-hmm.
so much out of there, and then hopefully we'll get the output to take care of the lease, that underlying monthly payment that we have to do, of course. But that's
Yeah.
the way that I'm looking at blockchain, dude. I mean, there's just endless opportunities inside of that space, and I'm just always talking to more and more people, just trying to find out more and more information about all of the different projects that are coming out, because all of these projects are limitless. For some reason, inside of the cryptocurrency space, everybody has these grand and massive visions. But when you look outside in the regular space and in the regular world, it's as if everybody's just been like detained. Everybody's put themselves in a box. And what I like about cryptocurrency and the blockchain space altogether is that there is no box. We made the
Yeah.
box, you know. These
All right.
people are making Bitcoin. These people are making Doge. These people are making Ripple. These people are
Yeah.
making Anchor, you know. So they've created their own box, and in reality, there is no box. So I
Yeah.
just am a big believer beyond or behind all the things that come around blockchain and cryptocurrency, decentralized finance. Dude,
Yeah.
I think it's the truth, man.
It is.
There's no other way
It
to
is.
invest right now. I mean, I believe it to be one of the most important and pivotal things inside of finance ever.
Yeah.
You know, full
Yeah.
transparency. We can see everything. We know exactly how much we're gonna make. It's not gonna be pulled from us. It's
Hmm.
not gonna be seized. There's not gonna be all this crazy shit that can possibly happen. Um, it,
Yeah.
it's just a world of purity and transparency.
I definitely agree, man. I think that decentralized finance is it's everything when you think about the technology, how it's peer to peer, transactions. You talk about XRP, where you have fast, efficient cross border payments, where you can cut out the middleman. You don't have to worry about going to a bank to finalize a transaction. And I think it gives an investor, it gives an individual like me and you more control. But I would love to get your opinion on what could possibly happen if the government came out and said, okay, we're going to find a way to regulate this, and we're going to ban it, and we're going to create our own type of digital currency. What does that type of landscape look like? Do you ever see something like that happening where the government creates their own digital currency and bans all the other competitors?
Um, Creating their own currency, yes. Um,
Hmm.
Banning all the other cryptos, no. Here's the reason why, dude. The projects that are going to last have a real world application.
Yeah.
You know,
Hmm.
so they're solving real problems
Yeah.
that actually did need to be solved. So to
Hmm.
ban that would mean going back to the past at least 5 to 10 years. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a great point because you're right. There's so many great uses. Even off my previous episode, I had a guest on. His name is Alex Cole, and he was just talking a lot about like with VChain, how they really help with the supply chain and the manufacturing process with companies, and they have different um, RFID tags where they're able to scan certain products and services, and when the product gets low, they can order more on the blockchain. I mean, you think about even like Stellar, they're just connecting banks and individuals to make payments more effectively and efficiently. So you're right. I think the uses for uh, these cryptocurrencies, it wouldn't make sense to ban it. I just think that the government, they're going to find a way to try to create their own thing. But it's going to be interesting, man. I mean, a lot of people talk about regulation, but I don't think there's going to be enough regulation to really change it because it's needed. It's no different than when the internet was created. It was something that was well needed. Social media, um, it was just inevitable. That was something that needed to happen, and I think that with crypto, it's definitely very interesting. I wonder, like, what's your approach with NFTs, like non fungible tokens? Do you see that as another piece to the pie when you think about decentralized finance? Do you think that's going to bring a lot of changes into the landscape as well
Well,
with
we'll
NFTs?
we'll put a pin in the NFTs, and I want to tell you, the thing to really be weary of, the thing to really start pondering on is not the idea behind them banning it, but it's the idea of them taxing it to the point where it didn't even matter that we did it in the first place.
You're right about that.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
that
You're right.
that's something that scares me. That's something that
The tax.
scares me. Where they just tax it
Yeah, yeah.
90%, and then we just lose money, you know, or 75%. Well, whatever they want to do. I mean, they do whatever they want
Tax.
to do. So that's what actually scares me. But going on the idea
Exactly.
behind NFTs, I think I spent like three grand on NFTs on NBA Top Shot.
Oh,
I
for
don't even
real?
know what they're worth,
Yeah, we thought that.
and I don't know what people I ordered or what people I bought. But dude, I believe that NFTs will definitely have a future. I'm actually working with. It's funny that you say that, but I'm
Mhm.
working with the person that I'm acquiring the lab from. He's an artist, so
Mhm.
he's a creator. He does paintings and stuff. So he's working on creating like a collection of NFTs, and we're gonna be releasing that
Yeah.
too.
That's gonna be solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think the NFTs, and for people out there that don't know what NFTs are, it's pretty much, digital collectibles of art. With NBA Top Shop, those are more sport highlights. NBA digital highlights where people are able to put it on the blockchain. It is backed by a cryptocurrency, and they're able to keep it on that blockchain, and you're able to track it, who owns the piece of art or the highlight, whatever it is. So I think the digital collectibles, I never really thought of it, but another example of NFTs is like even when we think about video games and we think about like Fortnite, we think about, even NBA 2K where they create different exclusive content, whether it's you have to pay whatever the VC points or whatever they call it, the money that you will have to use on a platform to purchase like a new Fortnite outfit, or for NBA, another pair of shoes, or some type of skill that you can use in the game. That's essentially what an NFT is. It's really that's the kind of way that I interpret it. But it's very interesting, man. I definitely am trying to learn more. I haven't purchased one yet, but I'm definitely wanting to learn like what's the process of me actually making one, and differing if I'm gonna just buy something or if I'm actually gonna take the time to create something. Another idea that I thought of is like, with writing a book. I think the NFT, structuring something around a book release with an NFT is very innovative. So that's another thing that I've thought of. But yeah, man, it's another part of decentralized finance, and it's just crazy the way technology is moving in the world. It's really amazing
It really is.
to see. Yeah, it is. Now I wanted to ask, as we're coming to a close, I wanted to get your opinion on, like, how do you value which cryptocurrencies are good and decipher between the ones that may not be as much. Like, what is your process when you're putting a portfolio together of cryptos? Kind of take me through that mindset.
Okay. Well, I mean, for me, it's pretty simple. I mean, I just leverage the talents of other people. I spend
Hmm.
my full time on Bloomble and growing it to be that multi-billion-dollar company that I know it's going to be. So I just don't have the time to be researching. I've already lost hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to do the research thing myself. And so I was just looking for some of the best people out there who were already getting results. I found one of my good friends, Zach Curran. He was actually able to turn right around 3 grand into like $2 million through Ripple.
Mm,
And so as soon as I saw
mm,
that, I was like, that's a person of influence. That's a person that I can trust. Um, and so he has his own like collective, his own community, his own group where he releases a lot of the coins that he knows are actually going to pop. That's actually how I found Anchor. Zach gave me ANKR probably like a year ago or like 8 months ago, and it was at 0.008 cents, point zero zero
mm.
eight cents, not even a cent. And so he helped me, dude. I was able to turn right around 35,000 into 500 something thousand now. And dude,
Mm,
I'm just grateful that I found the right people who are already going through the educational process, already doing their due diligence, already doing all the research that I wouldn't have the time to do in the first place. So I just find good people, and I have a couple friends who also run uh, like 50 to $100 million hedge funds and private equity firms
mm,
inside of uh, the currency and blockchain industry. So they're also other people that I reference to. If I'm not feeling wholehearted about what Zach has to say, I'll go to Christian or Mitch and say, "Yo, dude, what do you guys think about this?" And usually they'll give me their true, honest opinion, and it always ends up helping, and it always ends up working in the long run.
Yeah, that's so smart, man. I think for people listening and watching, you got to be able to leverage, your circle and just try to, be around other people that are smarter than you. You know what I'm saying? You hang around billionaires, you're gonna become a billionaire. If you hang around people that are not as wise when it comes to their money, then you're not going to be wise when it comes to that. So I think that you understanding that the time that it takes for the research, you don't necessarily have the time to do that. So finding people that are already knowledgeable of this space, it allows you to be able to get the insight you need to be able to take advantage of those opportunities. So thank you for sharing that, man. And I guess the last thing I want to ask here is like, how can people connect with you on social media? For people that want to go online, purchase your products and services, what is the best website to go to do that?
Awesome. So to follow me, it's just Zevin Clark. If you look up in the corner, it's all spelled out, but it's one word: Zevin Clark, Clark. That's one word, Zevin Clark. And then to find anything about Bloomble, it's just Bloomble.com. So at sign Bloomble.com, Dotcom. So Bloomble.com, Mbledotcom at Bloomble.com.
Thank you, Zevin, so much for sharing that. And everyone, definitely check out the website. Great products and services, and definitely help. With 10% of every order does go to just helping. Their cause and need for people that are struggling with different things around anxiety. And I wanted to say, as far as for insightful principles, if you all can continue to like, subscribe, and share this video, that'd be greatly appreciated. I'm going to put my link tree in the show notes so you can be able to follow the social media platforms and also my Patreon page, where I create exclusive content in the areas of finance, business, and investing. And Zevin, I did want to tell you thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Appreciate you.
I really enjoyed it. Of course, man.
I appreciate you.
All right,
Thank you for
everyone.
having me.
Of course, no problem, man. Well, everyone, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Insightful Principles, and take care.